Good morning, Chandler. Let's talk about your writing, some of the things that are amazing in the work you're doing, and some things that you can change to make your writing even better. Let's go back to your small moment stories because there's a lot we can learn from your small moment stories that will also help you in fiction writing and all the other writing you do this year.
So here's what I noticed about one of your small moment stories. My dad told me this book is Spinning? That one isn't, it's okay. But check it out. You wrote one sentence and then there's no more pages. One of the most important things we're doing in first grade is making sure that we have at least 3 pages in our book and that they have a beginning, middle, and end. So in this other small moment story you write, you have 1, 2, 3 pages, but there isn't really a lot of writing, which is why we work to revise it together. But you didn't go on to add more, to add an ending to your story.
Now, Chandler, I work with a lot of students as writers, and for some students, it's a big deal to be able to write 3 pages, but not for you. You could fill an entire book where every page has lines all the way down to the bottom, and it wouldn't be that hard for you. So my expectation for you is that that is exactly what you do, that you fill your book with excellent writing. And let's talk about what excellent writing looks like now.
Let's start by looking at your very best small moment story. The one where you had a strong beginning, a strong middle, and a strong end. You even have a title for it, How I Got 7 Fish. Beautiful star letters, starting with a capital. One day I was at school. I was so late that I even forgot to bring my backpack, period. That day was so boring. Wow, this is great because you start with capital, end with periods, you have star letters, so it's easy to read. But what makes this great writing is there's movement. I was at school, I was so late, I forgot my backpack. So we feel like we're with the character and even talk about how the character was feeling. That day was so boring. Then I was home. My big sis is still not home, but after 2 minutes, great transition, Chandler, but after 2 minutes, my sis came in and I have 9 fish. I was so excited. Wow, again, you're showing how you feel. So you were feeling bored at school, but now that you have your 9 fish and your sister's home, you're feeling excited. Nice job. Then 2 fish died for some reason. Now there's evidence here that you did some editing work. You fixed those rogue capitals. Nice catch. Now I have 7 fish. I hope someday I can get even more pets. Beautiful.
There are so many things that are great about that small moment story. The character moves. There's a clear beginning, middle, end. We understand that this is all about you getting 7 fish. You add your sister as a character. You use great transitions like after 2 minutes. You talk about how the character is feeling. So how can we revise this story to add more and make it even better? Let's see.
So on the first page in the beginning, it says, one day I was at school, period. I was so late that I even forgot to bring my backpack. That day was so boring. This sentence and this sentence don't necessarily tell the whole story. Your reader might be confused about what you forgetting to bring your backpack has to do with the school day being boring. So I might add more in between there to make it make sense. So I might say, I even forgot to bring my backpack. It was a bad start to the day, and that whole day was so boring. This way, giving that little bit more information, do you see how your readers might feel like it makes more sense because they have a little more information? Then on the next page, it's about you getting home. So because it was such a hard day at school, I might say, instead of then I was home, I might say something like, when I finally got home, my big sister, or sis, was still not home. But after 2 minutes, my sister came in and gave me nine fish. I was so excited. Now, this is where we're going to revise to make it even better. So far, we've seen your character move and feel, and we're totally into your characters, but we haven't heard them speak, and that could add a lot. So I'm going to add thanks, sis, I cried. Then 2 fish died for some reason. Now this page only has 1 sentence. And we've talked about how one of your goals, Chandler, is to write more because you can. You can write more great words. So let's make this make a little more sense for your readers. So you were excited and thanks, sis, I cried. But then we want to say that 2 fish died. So we could say, I was so upset when I woke up the next day to discover that 2 of my fish died for some reason. Oh no! I wailed. I was so disappointed. Period. Do you see how adding just a little bit more makes it make more sense and helps make your character come alive for your readers, Chandler? Now let's look at the end of your story. Endings are very important because they remind the reader what the story was all about and helps them feel like it's finished. So I might start with some talking to connect what happened on the page before when you were feeling disappointed. So I might say, at least I have 7 fish, I said gratefully. And I thought to myself, I hope someday I can get even more pets. So Chandler, do you see how by adding talking, by adding more, by adding your character's thoughts, and by making sure that sentences make sense and that there's more to your story because you've written more, it's a better experience for your readers? That is what I expect from you as you continue to write your fiction stories. Let's reread your small moment story now that we've made all those changes. How I Got 7 Fish by Chandler. One day I was at school. It was so late that I even forgot to bring my backpack. It was a bad start to the day, and that whole day was so boring. When I finally got home, my big sis was still not home. But after 2 minutes, my sis came in and gave me 9 fish. I was so excited. Thanks, sis, I cried. I was so upset when I woke up the next day to discover that 2 fish died for some reason. Oh no, I wailed. I was so disappointed. At least I have 7 fish, I said gratefully. And I thought to myself, I hope someday I can get even more pets.
So Chandler, today and every day, when you are writing small moment stories, when you are writing fiction, these are the things I want you to think about. Write more, add more to your story, and make it interesting for your readers by adding talking. And keep doing the great things you're doing, like using those transition words and making your characters feel and move. Happy writing, Chandler.